Okay, let's see. What's on my to-do list today? An episode of The Performers I Know. Huh. Gee, I don't remember having an episode scheduled. I thought my whole first season was in order. Is this a bonus episode, maybe? Huh. Gee, I wonder who's getting interviewed. I guess we'll find out. This bonus episode of The Performers I Know coming at you! These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the performers I know. Um, you know,
Dang,
yes.
I got this.
Oh,
Hi, everyone. We have a very special guest with us today. He's a writer, an actor, director, and is known for his wide variety of impressions, ranging from David Lynch to The Simpsons. Let's give a warm welcome to Vagabond Repertory Theater owner Dave Forjone.
oh my goodness, this is so unexpected. I didn't think for even a second that I
Hi,
was
Dave.
being interviewed today.
Welcome to
Huh?
this special $100,000 episode of The Performers I Know.
$100,000. Wow.
As you know, we bargained and you said we settled for $100,000 for
Oh,
the cut. Yeah,
okay. So that sick YouTube money's not coming in right away.
you left that part out.
Well,
Anyway, let's continue. If you listen to episode 7, you know that Dane and I, Zoe Rock, touched base on how much it would cost to get Dane on this show as a guest. And $100,000 was the
oh, so
agreement.
that came true, huh? People
Yeah.
were donating. Well, that's wonderful. I'm so happy. I expect to see that in my bank account Monday morning. Yeah.
Yep, you can keep praying.
Okay, I
Yeah,
will I will pray for that.
yeah. Okay. So, Dan, I want to get started by asking you, what was the first acting experience you have ever had?
The first acting experience I ever had was a million zillion years ago when I was 15. I played football in high school, and unfortunately, I got a very bad knee injury that derailed my budding football career. And I use that term loosely because I wasn't really very good at football. So, my dear sweet mother, she looked at me with big doe eyes and she said, Danathan, Danathan, my sweet, sweet child, I want you to have some kind of an activity to do. I don't care what it is. You can juggle chainsaws for all I care. I just don't want you sitting around the house all day. Okay, Mama. So I saw in my high school, they were doing a production of The Odd Couple. And I said to myself, Self, why don't you try out for that? If you get a part, great. If you don't, that's fine too. So I went and tried out and was the only sophomore to get a role in a junior and senior heavy show. So that was a pretty big feather in my cap, if I say so myself.
Good job, Dan. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Tell us, how do you go about finding the next role? What do you look at? Do you look at specific theaters or do you look for like specific roles?
Um, that's a good question. You know, sometimes I find that it's always the theaters that are like an hour away from my home that
Same.
have the roles that I want to do. For example, Beauty and the Beast at Brundage Park Playhouse. Great company, great show, an
Great
hour's
plan.
drive away. So it really, in terms of that answer, I would say it depends upon the show. If it's something that I really want to do, I'm willing to drive an hour. But if it's just something that I'm doing for the funsies of it, or if it's a show I've never done before, I try to stay local.
Hmm. Okay. I was researching and I found a show that was dated February 20th, 2019, titled You Can't Be Serious. Tell us about that show and the friends you have made from that show.
Well, if you listen to episode one of this podcast with my very good friend Michael Riley, You Can't Be Serious was an improv show that we did in the vein of Whose Line Is It Anyway? We ran it online for several years, and the discussion came about of doing the show live. And several people chimed in saying that they would be interested in doing the show. So we had people coming from all over the place. We had people who came from North Carolina and Ohio and Indiana. And these are just the cast members. Everybody came together and we did a live show. And it was a lot of fun, and the audience had a good time. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, a good portion of those people I don't really associate with anymore. But that's okay because sometimes those things happen. But I still am in contact with a good portion of the cast. And yeah, we still do improv to this day. So it's a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Anyway, that was a very popular show, by the way. It's amazing on your part, Dane. Okay.
Well, I mean, you can thank Mike Riley for that because he's the one who created it, not me. But I will pass that message along.
Okay. Thank you. Shortly before You Can't Be Serious, you established Vagabond Theater Company. Tell us about the tell us about this, what led you to set up this facility, and what are some exciting things that you would like to share?
Well, I was kicking around in the community theater scene for a long time, and it was always on the acting side of things. And I tended to notice that all the directors that I've worked with had their own different spin and different style on things. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, hey, maybe I can do something like this. It really didn't hurt that I tend to write a lot of my own material. So, with that in mind, I staked my claim and started my own theater company. And one of the first shows that we did was Young Sherlock Holmes Adventure, followed by The Book of Waits, which was a show dedicated to Tom Waits, which a lot of people seem to enjoy. And then apparently Tom Waits himself heard about it and enjoyed it, and that was a thing that happened. Um, yeah. And then when the COVID pandemic hit, we had to kind of retreat online. And that's where I realized, hey, I'm really good at editing audio. So we started doing virtual radio plays, and we've been doing that ever since.
Dane. So I along so far, I've heard you mentioned a lot of your amazing accomplishments and like plays and things. What was the first ever kind of step out there of like one of the things you like wrote yourself?
One of the first things that I wrote, wow, that was probably Young Sherlock Holmes Adventures. It was essentially born out of my being a very big fan of Sherlock Holmes. I really liked the Robert Downey Jr. movies. And a long time ago, in the mid 80s, there was a movie called Young Sherlock Holmes. It's not very good. Um, I remember watching it and going, I feel like I can do this much better. I feel like I can put a much more interesting spin on Sherlock Holmes as a youngster than this bit of cinema. So I started to write and write and write and write, and pretty soon I had myself a full-length play, and it seems to be something that people like because it's been done on stage quite a few times. In fact, this coming December 2024, there is a theater company based in New Jersey called United Theater, and they're going to be doing the show for their Christmas show. Yay!
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 Dane, are you going to be in the show?
I am not going to be in the show. I am going to be the creative consultant to the director, Leah Zuckerman, who's a very talented director. And yeah, maybe I don't know, Zoe, if you play your cards right, you can be in the show. I can put in a good word for you.
Would you do that?
I mean, yeah, you don't seem too
Uh,
jazzed. You don't seem too jazzed about it. So, I don't know now.
let's continue. What was
Mhm.
what was your favorite digital scene or showcase?
My favorite showcase? Ah, wow. I really don't have a
Okay,
favorite.
just letting you know, if you want that extra 10,000, I would say Tanya Mouse.
I mean, I could say that, but that would be, putting aside all the other great scenes that have been done over the 10 or 11 scene showcases. I like, I know this is going to be a very disappointing and very boring answer, but I like all of them. All of the scenes that I do are, I think, wonderful, especially, the fact that people bringing my characters to life, especially Tanya Mouse. That was a particularly good.
I know, right? I
Yeah.
wonder who made that awesome experience.
I, I don't know. Hang on, I got the paper.
Somewhere out there.
I beg your pardon, little girl mouse. You were being very rude. Yeah, it was hang on, I got the paper right here. I think her name was Zawai Roke. Did I pronounce
I
that?
think I think it's pronounced Zoe Rock, but I
Oh
mean
yeah.
that girl is pretty famous. I've heard a lot of good things about her,
I've
so
heard I've heard especially wonderful things.
that's
Yeah.
I mean that's great for her.
Yeah, I know. That person that's totally not here interviewing me. It's just this is actually the person interviewing me is Bowie, Zoe's
Mm,
twin.
sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay. Next question. If you all remember when I introduced Dane, I mentioned his great impressive ability for his impressions. One of the videos Dane created was called Giving Characters a Voice. It is a great short that is extremely interesting and fun. Dane, give our audience today a quick sample of and do a voice for us.
Yeah, I'll do it if you want me to. Uh, how's this? Would you like? Can I tell you a little bit about myself? I have a collection of rocks. My favorite rock is this pointy rock that I found in my garbage can about 2 months ago. it cut my hand and I was bleeding and it hurt me, but it was my favorite.
That's amazing. That's an
Or
amazing
something,
story.
something like that. You know, I have to actually, I couldn't help but notice that you said The Simpsons. I, I only wish that I could do a Simpsons voice well. I mean, like the the only one I can think of is like Mr. Burns, like Smithers have the Rolling Stones killed, or something like that.
I
But
saw it in one of your shorts.
okay, what? Now I'm very interested because which short did I do a Simpsons voice?
That's okay. We'll go back to that.
Okay.
And by the way, this is a note to our audience. If you have not checked out that video, guys, you should go to the playlist and
Hmm,
take a good look at it.
you should. In
You really
fact, while you're there, you should totally look up David Lynch presents an American Tale. That one's pretty snazzy.
it really is. I
Oh,
was
wait a minute. You're talking about the Goodnight Moon dub? That, that's what you're talking about. See, the thing is, folks, Christopher Walken is one of my favorite impressions to do. And there was a joke on a Simpsons episode where Christopher Walken read Goodnight Moon to a group of very terrified kids.
yeah, Dane, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one.
Oh, okay, that's the one. I see.
Okay. So Dane, what do you
Yes.
think about Disney productions and character voices?
What do I think about Disney productions and character voices? You know, it's been it's my belief that Disney villains are the most fun to play. Absolutely.
Yes, of course. Like, oh, remember that time I did Beauty and the Beast, I think it was called? Oh my God, Congress was so good. I wonder who that was. And so was Chip.
Yeah, Trinity DeVito. Oh, what a wonderful chip
She was awesome.
she was. And that other chip was pretty good too.
I wonder who that was.
I
I
don't
don't remember.
know,
I think
but
her name was Zoe. I don't remember.
yes, I'm
Eh,
almost sure. I'm certain that's her
maybe it was Sherlock. You know,
name.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
And so, Dane, when you're casted in a production, like I know I do this. I watch the play or the movie of like the productions that I'm in. Do you specifically look for like a movie or a musical to watch of the shows you're in?
Generally, I don't, because one thing that I've learned in my acting and directing is you don't want to be a carbon copy of a movie or a television show or a play. If you're cast as Cogsworth, make it your own. Don't play it like, oh, I'm going to play it exactly like the movie is. Because generally speaking, and I want this to come from me, if you try to do that, chances are it's not going to go out as well. Um, I feel it's much better to make the character your own rather than say, oh, well, I'm going to play just like SpongeBob SquarePants or something like that. So, no. Do I go for inspiration? Yes, but not for the actual uh, character or the way the character acts.
Related to that, wonderful answer. Do you find that you can relate to the characters you play?
Sometimes, yes. A lot of people when they said when I got cast as Cogsworth, they went, this character really suits you very well, and I just couldn't help but be like, so what? Does that mean I'm just like a big fuss budget, and you think that I'm all got to stick up my butt or something? So, you know,
Or
I,
juggling stuff normally?
you know, I've played a lot of different characters. And some of them I feel I can relate to more than others. I think it really depends on who the character is. Uh, and I'm sure with everybody who has done theater can say the same thing. Where if you play a character and you go, oh, this character is right up my alley. Or if you go outside the box or you're outside your comfort zone to play something that you would never play before, like a villain or a sidekick or the hero. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. What was your favorite role of all time?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I think it would have to be Mr. Rote in Wait Until Dark, which is a very scary horror play. And Mr. Rote is just this sinister, psychotic villain, and he just oozes evil. And I got to menace people on stage in doing so. And as I said before, I I love Disney villains. I just like playing villains in general because I people tend to see me more as a either a hero or a sidekick. I just like to say like, I can play a villain too. Just saying.
Then you can do one and then all.
That's right. That's what I
Okay.
that's what I always say, but I don't know. Some people just don't believe me. I don't know why.
So you're currently in the cast. You're currently in cast of Murder on the Orient Express. Tell us about it. Where is it at, and what role do you play?
Well, it is at the Little Victory Theater in Staten Island, and I am Hercule Poirot, the detective who has come onto the train to solve the murder of a gangster. And yeah,
So you're
it.
not the.
Oh, I'm not the villain. No, I am not. The villain actually turns out, well, I don't want to spoil who the villain is, but
We don't need no more hints. No, 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 no. I
no, I'm
want to
not
watch.
gonna. I'm just gonna say it might surprise you. That's all I'm gonna say. Certainly the most interesting role I've done because I get to wear a phony baloney mustache on stage and use a French accent for the whole show.
Yep, that's one of the main reasons I'm going. Yep.
That's right.
You have done so much between acting and directing. As an actor, I want to know. Tell us a little bit about something you have directed.
Well, if you mean in terms of virtual shows, I've done about a zillion of them. If you want to talk about something that I've done in person, I've
In person, yeah, in person.
in person, yes. I think my biggest triumph was probably Daniel, my brother, which started out as a singular scene in one of my scene showcases back in 2020. And we did the sequel in 2021. And we did the third part of the trilogy in 2022. And then me and Shannon Ship, who, depending upon when this episode airs, you've already either heard our episode or you're going to hear it sometime in the future, but it is coming up, episode number 13. We got together and said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we did this show on stage? So we combined the three scripts and we got it all together and it came wonderfully. Even though we had a last minute cast change because of COVID, the person who stepped in did a marvelous job. And yes, it was something that I was very proud of.
Okay. Since you have been on both sides of the auditioning experience, please tell us what you look for when someone is auditioning.
I like to see a person who is enthusiastic. That's number one. Because anybody can just come in and
Right
read
here.
lines. And if I see a person who is reading lines like this and they have no inflection, they just go about it like this, chances are you're not really going to be interested. If a person dives right into a character, makes it their own right away, I take notice of it. So, yes, that's the first thing that I look for. The second thing I look for is making sure people pay attention to the stage directions because those are just as important as the lines you're reading as well.
Good to know. Good
Yeah.
to know. Dane, you have been in so many shows and have directed so many shows. But what is your dream role?
Well, my dream role is LeFou in Beauty and the Beast. So I
Really?
got I got into the show, but not the role that I had originally wanted. There's just
I could
something
see you as LeFou.
there's just something about the role that amuses me. I like his song. Um, I like doing all the crazy pratfalls on stage.
And you're funny just like him.
Yes, I mean, Nick Short was not too shabby as LeFou, though. I will say that.
Yes. And Chip as well. So good.
You know, I think I'm a little old to play Chip at this point. You know,
I see how it
I mean,
is.
unless like it's like Chip is like a 40-year-old man. Hey, mom, I gotta go do my taxes, mom. Oh, by the way, there's a girl in the castle. I'll see you later. I'm gonna go wax my mustache.
The mustache that you will be wearing on Murder on the Orient Express that I will
Well,
be
I
watching.
don't know. I don't know if Chip would have a mustache like Poirot. Maybe like a little pencil thin mustache, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know, maybe juggling chainsaws as well.
Well, I mean, if you notice, Chip doesn't have hands, so
But she's a very independent chick. Exactly.
oh,
If you could name one video that you feel is a must to listen to on your playlist, which one would it be?
of my shows. Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta tell you, I would say probably Rooster's Grand Adventure would be one of them. It was such a perfect casting and excellent music.
Yeah, Ryan did an awesome job.
That's right. And the person who played Daisy, fantastic. She really did that Southern accent beautifully.
Huh?
Oh no, it's the hooded claw.
Okay. You heard it, folks. Dane said it himself. You should go check that out.
That's right. I mean, you should check out all of my videos. Just saying,
I'm sure.
so I can get that sick YouTube ad revenue, you know. Just saying.
One final question. Say you
Yes.
got say you got into an audition and the director says, "Tell me about yourself." Now, how would you respond to that?
Well, I was born the son of a poor fishing merchant off the coast of New Zealand. Uh, I went, I sailed around the world when I was 2 years old, and I swam with the dolphins who taught me how to sing, taught me how to dance,
You
and
swam the moat.
I swam the moat. Yes, I don't think I stuttered, just like
You swam the moat.
just like Winifred swam the moat. Yes, that is correct. See, she knows what I'm talking about, but you guys don't know what we're talking about. Well, that'll be revealed in due time. Um, no, all joking aside, it's a very interesting question. I don't think I've ever heard something like that before. I guess it's just easy to say. I'm just a guy from Staten Island who has a love of theater and a love of acting. I like what I do and I like working with people. That's really all you can say.
Great answer, Jane. Great answer. And you especially like working with someone named Bowie Root. Oh.
You know, Bowie owes me like $20, so I'm a little mad at them right now. I mean, if they were to find it in their hearts to Venmo me,
I'll just give you some tag-alongs, some Girl Scout.
okay. I mean, I wasn't talking about you, Zoe. I was talking about Bowie, but I guess you just
I mean, she'll give you some.
oh, you well, nah, you just tattled on yourself. I'm sorry.
No. Anyway, before we end, what do you think about soup?
Hmm. I like soup. Soup can be both a liquid and a solid, if you
I
think
mean,
about
it's not hard enough. Mix it with some Jello packets, and you got a dish.
it. That well, if you put chicken or carrots or little pieces of onion, if you're crazy, um, or
You.
broccoli, cheddar broccoli, which I know certain people in the Rock household really like, you get yourself a nice hearty soup, and it's good for you. There's a whole book about chicken soup for the soul. It's wonderful. I can't say I've ever read it, but I've heard good things. So yes,
Okay.
I am pro soup.
You should do a video on soup.
I should do a video on soup. You're right.
Yeah, we'll talk about soup. Make an ad for Panera.
That's
Because their
hello.
broccoli cheddar soup is almost as good as your videos.
Well, here's the thing. I envision three girls. We'll call them Zoe, Aaliyah, and Nadia. Three
Not my.
girls
Ooh.
arguing in a car, and you just hear that announcer. Are you having a rough day? Are you arguing with your sisters? Come on down to Panera Bread. Sit down, eat some broccoli cheddar soup, and just be quiet. No, no, don't raise your voice. Just shush, 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 shush. Eat your soup, and you'll feel all better. Panera Bread. We want you to just sit down and shut up. There.
Dane, I just wanted to say it was a pleasure. The most wonderful experience I've had in a while.
Oh,
Being able
wow.
to interview you on this show was a pleasure. You are such a unique individual with such a wonderful, happy, and energetic personality.
Uh,
Is there
you
anything you
know,
would like to share with our audience before we close?
um, I would just like to say I don't really trust many people to interview me. I put a lot of trust in Zoe because I knew she could do it. And yeah, she did it quite lovely. It was
Oh, thank you.
a pleasure to have her as my to reverse the tables instead of me interviewing her, she
Which we did.
interviewed
You
me.
should go watch
You should go watch that episode. It's episode
7.
uh 7, yes. You should go watch that right now. Yeah, you know what? Stop what you're doing.
Yep,
Click
scratch this.
click out click out of this video since it's almost over and go watch episode 7. Do it right now. In fact,
I'll give you
I
3 seconds.
that's right. I we're gonna quiz you. We're gonna quiz you on it. And if you fail, we're just gonna send you a very stern a picture of us looking at very disappointed at you.
We'll fight in the woods, mud style.
Yes, we'll hit you with sticks and we'll
Mud
throw
style.
things at we'll throw things at you. Yeah,
Mud style.
that's right.
If you didn't watch Rooster's Grand Adventure, you wouldn't understand, which means you should go watch it.
That's right.
3 seconds. Go watch it. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye. Thanks,
Goodbye.
Dave, for an awesome opportunity.
Goodbye, everybody. I know. These are performers I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, these are performers I know.